G'day, my name's Paul. Thanks for coming along on one of my adventures. This week, close encounter with a snake. Oh, I could have done without that. I also found God's pencils. Very interesting. And as well as that, I really enjoyed travelling all along the Bylong Way and through the Hunter Valley. Very enjoyable. Getting back to the snake thing, doing the hike, I realised in that incident I actually had no snake bite kit with me, and travelling alone, not a lot I could do. Certainly the first thing I shouldn't be doing is panicking, however, but it's a really good idea. Remember, sometimes you'll see me wearing gumboots. Not a bad idea. Not the snakes can't bite above the gumboot, it's just that you're giving yourself a small chance. Anywho, I'm starting to dribble, so let's go. Leaving Kandos and driving through the mountains was absolutely fantastic. The beautiful escarpment either side quite often made you feel as though you're actually physically driving through the Blue Mountains. It was great. And some of the corners were a little bit dodgy, pretty tight. Back in the day we used to call them devil's elbows. Good morning, top of the morning to you. Very crisp morning here in Bylong. So Bylong, I've just come from Kandos, travelled through all of the beautiful escarpment. That's a sight all by itself. And the thing I really enjoyed about that, it's like going to the Blue Mountains and you always think, oh, I'd like to be a little bit closer to that escarpment and the beautiful cliff face. Well, this time you're actually driving through it. So yeah, that's really great. You might be able to see a bit over my shoulder there. Not a lot of kangaroos and all that sort of wildlife, but it's made up for by the beautiful singing of the birds early in the morning. From here, I'm headed off to the Hunter Valley, so that'll be interesting. Apparently there's a bit of a windy road, but I'm sure that'll be great fun. Wind blown the whole thing out at Battery Rock. Beautiful little area, only room for 2 caravans or 2 camper vans or 2, because you drive past the toilets and you come down to a roundabout and that's the 2 spots and that's it. You have to be parked next to each other, that's it. It's meant to only be a rest stop, it's not actually a camping spot. But I need to rest. See the beautiful little river there, I'll hop out the road there, but nice little creek sort of trickling down here. You hear the birds, beautiful crickets, nice place to be. So I'll walk up the this little hillside, give you some idea of what's going on. It's fairly steep. This isn't an adventure walk, it's not an organised track or anything. That's quite good. I'll see if I can get a little bit closer to these rock formations I'm talking about. As I say, this is scarcely a track. Okay, you can start to see these rocks now. I'll just give you a bit of an idea of it. But as I say, they're a fairly steep hillside, and each rock just looks as though it's poised. I mean, if you didn't know about it, you wouldn't be anywhere near it. You used to think any minute one of these rocks is just going to tumble. I'll show you what I mean.
Take the next right onto Scone Road. Continue for 61 kilometres.
I just passed an area called Murdering Hut Gully. You'd think they would have changed the name. I just realised the day is almost at the end and the sun's setting there. I just wanted to tell you about this place. I'm in a place called Scone. Now, according to Google Maps, she calls it Scone, but a lot of people call it Scone. I don't know. Scone, scone, tomatoes, tomatoes, whatever. Great place. It's absolute free. They're not asking for a donation at all, and it's quite a big area here. I'd say you probably get, oh, I don't know, 35 or so caravans. Be a bit busy at that stage. At the moment there's 3 of us and there's 2 permanents, so but very comfortable, feel very safe, and you're very close to the main town of Scone. Check it out. The tourist office in Scone suggested I go out and check out the wash pools. I must admit, I'm really glad I did. When you first arrive at the wash pools, the entrance is a little bit dodgy. Feels as though the caravan's wider than the gap, but it's okay. Your destination is on the right. The next section over the waterway, however, that was well dodgy. Crossing over the waterway just with the angle of the dangle there, it was definitely a little bit dodgy trying to get across, because you've got to manoeuvre the back as well as the front. You can see the front wheels get pretty close to the edge there, just getting across that little waterway. I was just walking through the creek there, and just behind me, this big area of rocks, I saw a big black thing and I didn't even think about it, and suddenly I realised it was a snake. It's about a 6-foot black snake. Believe me, it so got my attention. He didn't see me, I didn't see him. I stopped, then he realised and he took off, and he's kind of gone over near the river. But it just makes me very aware of, they live here. He was having a sunbake and I was in his zone. Whew, my heart's still beating very fast. Look at the wallaby standing right there. How awesome is that? I can see you, Joey. This is why this area is called this. It's called the wash pool. And I don't know how easy it is to see, but basically the rocks come down and sort of hug in a like a little swimming pool thing. But it's also like, you know, when they got the sheep and that, and they put them in the run and they run along and they drench them and all that sort of stuff, and they run out the other side. Well, back in the day, that's exactly what the drovers would do. They'd bring the sheep or the cattle in here, fill it up with chemicals, let the sheep or the cattle run through here. They'd get that job done and they'd be ready for the market when they got the scone. Whew, I was still shaking about that snake. Nice though, isn't it? Good morning, top of the morning to you. I'm just about to leave Wash Pools, beautiful little area. Lovely little walk, you can walk up by the river. Just watch out for snakes. And yeah, you might see some wallabies. And in the afternoon I had a beautiful sort of duet by a couple of birds, and then later on with a kookaburra. So that was a really lovely feeling. And this morning, yeah, just headed off towards Newcastle to get that bank card of mine. Anywho, let's go. Here's a little tip for you. If you're going to break camp, don't break camp too early and get on the road. Probably an hour and a half to 2 hours after daybreak is not too bad, but any time before that, the chance of you finding a kangaroo on the road is pretty high, and they're not real smart. When I arrived at Lake Liddell, I was pretty lucky actually, because there was a car show on at the time. So I got to check out a couple of the old cars. Very good. Here's something I would not recommend: driving in the fog and driving early in the morning. If you do happen to see a kangaroo, the chance of you being able to stop before you hit it is pretty remote. That compound for spraying on the awning is CT118, I think it's called. Basically a trucking wash. I find it really, really good. You mix it up with water and you spray it on. I wouldn't leave it any more than 5 to 10 minutes and then wipe it off. What a day to make it. Good morning, top of the morning to you. Now I'm staying in a little place called Camp on Ellen. It's Allyn, and it's in East Gresford. And I just wanted to capture this moment just as I've arrived, and I've just quickly set up. This place is outstanding. It's a farm stay, and basically this time I couldn't even guess, but I'm probably guessing it might be I couldn't guess, but we'll guess anyway. I think it's about probably 10, maybe 15 acres just of area just for parking your caravan. It's right down by a little river, and people are coming and going because it's on a Sunday, so people are, apparently a lot of people are leaving, but when I was coming in, it was very busy traffic just on the path coming from the road into the farm, so obviously pretty popular. It's not a well-guarded secret. Anywho, I'll show you around the place and give you a bit of an idea of just how good it is. Well, that's the end of a pretty exciting week, considering I was just basically driving through the Hunter Valley area. Again, if you get a chance, go and buy yourself a snake kit. They do vary in price and they do vary in what's inside it. I've decided I'm going to do a special on snake kits and snake bites and all that sort of stuff to give you a bit of knowledge, but not this time. So yeah, try and get something like that, because you really don't want to encounter a snake out in the middle of the bush, even less so if you're by yourself. And don't forget, when you're out in the bush, probably a good idea to take yourself some sort of a phone and make certain it's charged up. And if it isn't charged, take a little, those little chargers that you can actually plug in your phone that gives it a charge. Gives yourself half a chance. Anywho, if you found the video useful, helpful and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. If you think the video is worth sharing, I would appreciate it. And until next time, this is Paul Will Drive signing off.